Namaste. Welcome to your restorative class for calming the stress response. Today, we're going to take a fewer poses than in a more standard yoga class and spend a little more time releasing down, breathing, and focusing on that space between the inhale and the exhale, the space between the trigger of stress and our response to it, in intention of using this practice to ground us, refresh our perspective, release the ways that stress affects our body, our mood, our mind. So gather all the props that you'd like, definitely at least a pillow and a couple blocks or blanket rolled up, kind of like a bolster. We will be using those throughout class. So even if I don't cue how to use some of these props to help you release and kind of let go into poses, feel free to prop yourself up however would be helpful. We're going to work on allowing the more active ways we usually take these poses, relaxing that down and letting our subtle body work through the stress that it's perceiving that we're experiencing. So once you have your props, meet me in a comfortable seat in the center of the mat, and we'll begin with a little mindfulness. Allow the eyes to soften or close, and sit up as straight yet comfortably as you can. Begin to take a few deep breaths. Notice if the chest and your shoulders are rising with your inhales. Notice the heart rate. And see if you can begin to drop those inhales a little bit lower into the belly space. So that the belly expands first and then the chest. This will help kind of turn down that fight, flight, or freeze response that we have to stressors. That's the first step, is becoming aware of our breath. Tuning into the physical body and noticing how we perceive, process, and run down the trails of our mind of the things that are causing us anxiety, fear, worry. Notice how those sensations come and feel in your body. Maybe you clench your jaw. Maybe you get a sense of tightness across the front of your chest. Maybe your fingers begin to clench inward towards the palms of your hand. Maybe general muscle tightness. Maybe all or none of these. Just taking a few rounds of breath to take a check-in of how those sensations manifest in your body physically. You don't need to judge them or change them, just notice it. And continuing to breathe deeply, sending the breath. Full inhale, belly expands, then the lungs and the chest cavity. Exhaling out through the nose, lengthening out your exhales, pressing out as much air as you can. And now that we have identified the physical reactions to stress and difficult environments, maybe notice the way your thoughts interact with the physical sensations. Where does your mind go when you experience stress? Does it go down the path of worst case scenarios, self doubt, anger? Do you find you get quote unquote overly emotional? You're unable to keep that filter that society tells us we have to always be presenting ourselves through. Mentally and then emotionally, how does stress manifest in you? Again, not judging or trying to change it or wondering what to do about it. Just bringing our awareness to our bodies and how we process and react. Moving with the breath. Full inhales. Slowed down exhales. Now, when we feel stressed and it takes a toll on our bodies, over time it can have, as you know, quite serious negative health effects, which then, of course, makes us worry a little more and completes the cycle. But to break that cycle, to calm the stress response of the body, we find that in a pause, taking a moment between the trigger, the thing that makes us anxious, stressed, worrisome, taking a pause before allowing our reaction, our human reaction, to process and let the unconscious take over. So by noticing the physical sensations, the thoughts that happen after, the emotions and memories, all of the external and internal bits of information that our body is feeding us, if we can pause between the trigger and those responses, we find a moment where we can begin to gain a little bit more control, gain a little bit more awareness and perspective. And that's where we'll take our physical practice today. Allow this time to be that space between what you find stressful off the mat or on it and how you react. Take a deep breath in. Open mouth exhale. Blink open the eyes. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead, clasping the fingertips together at the top, clasping the hands together at the top, and then drawing the hands down through heart center until you find prayer, Anjali Mudra. Gazing down at your fingertips, take a final inhale here. Exhale, releasing the hands. Gently lift the gaze. We'll begin in a seated forward fold. So extend your legs long out in front of you. It can be helpful to sit up on a block or a pillow. Maybe you want to prop your knees up. I'm going to make it pretty cozy. You can roll the back of your mat up under your hips for a little lift. And you can even bring another pillow or your bolster down on top of your thighs and your legs so that when you fold over, you have something to support you there. I'm not going to take that variation, but feel free to add that or props anywhere else that would feel good for you. Before we take our fold, wiggle into the most comfortable space that you can, and then begin to sit up straight, pressing the sitting bones down, lifting up out of the pelvis, allowing the arms to relax down next to either side of your hips. Sitting up as straight as you can, take a deep inhale, reach the arms up. On an exhale, hinging at the hips, come forward, belly over the thighs, lower the arms. Roll the shoulders down the back. Inhale, lift the heart. And then exhale, allow yourself to fold, releasing every inch, allowing each vertebrae to gently fall into place as your spine curls and your head drops. Release the tension in your neck and your forehead. Allow the belly to rest against the tops of your thighs or your set of props underneath you. Notice if you're holding on anywhere. Can you release the fingertips from gripping the mat or your legs? You allow the feet to gently roll in or out at the ankles so that the only thing making effort to hold you is the earth pressing up against the back of your legs. Breathe into that. Exhale, open mouth. And let yourself be in the pause here. Relying on the steady breath to keep you from going down the rabbit trails of the mind. Allow the breath to bring you back to this quiet, focused space on your mat in your room, instead of drifting off into where the emotional responses are calling for you. Just let them go with the breath. Inhaling to acknowledge the physical, mental, emotional sensations. Exhaling to let them go. Find the pause and stay with yourself there. Take about 3 more rounds of slow, deep breathing in and out through the nose. After your third exhale, slowly lift the gaze. Inhale to walk the hands back as you slowly, very slowly sit back up. Take a moment here before making any other movements, allowing the body to adjust back to the change in position, change in gravity. And then as you're ready, gently remove any of the props you used for that posture. And finding yourself with the legs extended. Begin to bend the right knee and draw that right heel in towards you for a sage twist. So you can also use props here. You can keep the mat rolled up or sitting up on a block. Can be really helpful in this posture. You want about a fist width distance between the foot and your thigh, between your leg. And what we're going to do is inhale and twist in towards the knee, so in towards the right. But if that's not working for your body today, you can twist the other way. They'll provide more space for the torso. So drawing the foot in, again, propping yourself up however much you need. If your knee is super bent, you can stick a pillow or blanket underneath there. Again, sitting up on a block will help make this posture more accessible. You can even bend that knee and bring the left foot in towards the right sitting bone there if that's more comfortable for you as well. So a couple different options. The important thing is to be relaxed enough that you can let your body fall into the posture. You can drop out of your mind into that pause. So wherever you're at, sit up as straight as you can comfortably. And prop yourself up with that right hand behind, or if you're taking the other variation, your left hand, if you're going to be turning out for more space. Inhale, reach the left arm up. And then exhale, bending at the elbow, cross that elbow over the knee to the outside. Just give yourself a little help with the twist. You can also wrap your arm around the knee. You can also lean back if you need a little bit more space. So just kind of play around until you find how the shape feels best. Doesn't matter what it looks like, as long as you can breathe, as long as you can stay present and relax down into the moment. So find that spot, take an inhale, and find some stillness on the exhale. Closing the eyes or gazing softly downward. And just allow yourself to be. When sensations or memories, emotions or thoughts begin to trigger your attention, give them an inhale, acknowledge them. And then on your exhale, release that need to participate. Full belly breaths in and out. We'll spend about 3 more rounds of breath on this side. Taking your time. Slowly bring yourself back to center. Extend the right leg. Roll the shoulders down the back. And we'll move to the other side, drawing that left knee in, left heel in. About a fist width distance between the foot and the thigh. Again, taking any variation. And each side of the body is going to be a little different. So maybe on this side, you want to bend that knee and bring the heel inwards. Maybe this time you're going to turn away from the knee for a little bit more space. Maybe you prop yourself up. So get yourself where you need to be comfortably. And then prop yourself up with an arm behind you, left if you're following my variation here. Inhale, reach the right arm up. Exhale, hook the right elbow around the left knee, or wrap the right arm around the knee. Lengthen through the spine on the inhale. Exhale, twist in towards the knee, maybe gazing over your back shoulder. Taking a few rounds of breath to make those little movements into place. And then begin to close the eyes or gaze downward. Find stillness of body and mind. Inhaling into sensations, distractions, stresses, acknowledging them. And then exhaling, letting go, being fully present in your body, in your space. Allowing yourself to have this pause. And take 3 more rounds of breath here. Trying to make your exhale a couple seconds longer than the inhale. And allowing yourself to come back to center. Extending both legs long. We'll take another seated forward fold. You don't need to prop yourself up this time unless you really like to. We're not going to stay folded for too long here. Inhale, reach the arms up overhead. Let your exhale Exhale, cascade your torso over your legs, curling the spine, dropping the head. Then tuck the chin and curling the back. Begin to sit up, keeping your head hanging down, the chin tucked. Beginning to sit up, shoulders, chin, and head are the last to come up. Good. Then bring the soles of the feet together for butterfly pose. Another great opportunity here to prop up yourself. So taking 2 props about the same size under your knees can help with the grounding feeling. And we're going to take another fold here. So maybe you want to take a pillow or something in front of you. You can also stack your blocks so that you have something to rest your forehead on when you fold forward. So prop yourself up, take your time. You want to get nice and cozy. And then as you're ready, allow the sitting bones to indent into the mat, releasing the knees, allowing the inner thighs to release and open. Begin to sit up straight and bringing the heart forward, begin to fold forward, maybe reaching your arms or hugging the pillows or props in front of you. Lowering the chest, tucking the chin, letting the forehead gently release towards or inwards. Relax the head and the neck. And breathe. Inhaling into those physical, mental, emotional, etc. sensations and responses. Using these asanas, these postures and shapes to allow us to find those spots of stress within the body. Using the breath to acknowledge and release. Breathing here. Take 3 more rounds of breath. Staying present even though you're counting down. And then slowly making your way back to sit up. Like slow motion. All of the movements we take in this class are exaggerated in how slow they go. So take a moment when you sit up. Take a full breath in. Exhale through open mouth. And then gently remove any props, keeping the feet together, the legs as they are. I'm going to gently move right into head to knee fold. So keeping the left leg as it is, extend that right leg long, and then bring the sole of the left foot into your right thigh. Again, you can prop up your hips, sitting up on a block or rolling the back of the mat. If your knee is bent, again, propping it up underneath there. Maybe bringing a few things on either side of that right leg. So when we fold over it, you'll be able to have some things within easy grasp to relax downwards. All right, so shrug the shoulders down the back, begin to sit up straight. Inhale. Turn your torso to face the right leg. And then exhale, begin to fold over that right leg, walking the hands down, moving props with you as you need, finding where you'd like them and at what level. So you can fold over that right leg. Inhale to lengthen through the spine. Exhale, release the heart towards your knee. Lower your gaze towards your knee. Drop the head and the neck. This is another great spot to stack your blocks and maybe your fists to rest your forehead down. Find your position. And then resist the urge to wiggle. Let the conscious body be still, so our subconscious and subtle body can release and heal, can restore the balance and the peace from the inside out. Bring a little space between the stress and our response. Breathe in deeply through the nose, as much as you can, filling the lungs. Exhaling through the nose, following the warm breath out through the nostrils. And again, a full, slow, deep breath in. A cleansing breath out. One more round of that. Fully inhale. Fully exhale through the nose. Press into your hands to slowly lift yourself back up. Taking your time. Tiny little movements until you're back upright. Take a breath here. And begin to move to the other side. Extending the left leg out long. And the sole of the right foot into your left thigh. Bring in your little yoga toys with you. Begin to sit up straight, relaxing the shoulders, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, turn towards your left leg. So our sitting bones, our hips are staying where they are. We're just turning from the torso, from the belly center, over the left leg. And then exhaling, releasing ourselves down over that left leg. Wiggling our support items into place. Noticing a little difference on one side or the other. Either letting that head hang heavy or propping up your forehead. Relax through the legs. Just let them be. Relax into the posture. Relax into the breath. Just be. Soften the jaw. Relax your shoulders. Inhale fully. Belly expands, chest expands. Out through the nose, breathe out. Emptying the body of the breath. Following the inhale, air enters through the body, fills up the lungs. Exhale out through the nose. Final breath in. Keep inhaling. Slow exhale out. Bring your hands to the mat and press down to sit up. Walking the hands in as you straighten the spine. Again, taking a moment before opening the eyes. Move anything out of the way. And then extend both legs wide for a wide angle, seated forward fold, or dragonfly, as they call it in yin. Bring all the props you want. We're going to fold forward between the legs. It's okay if you don't go too far. It's okay if you go all the way down, anywhere in between. So I think I actually am going to need my blocks, just my blocks here to prop up my forehead. But take any variation, any setup of your support items as you need. When you're ready, begin to sit up straight. Maybe you prop up under your knees again or under your hips. Lengthen through the spine. And then exhale, bring the heart forward. Allow the spine to curl. Allow the head to either hang heavy or supported, depending on what feels right and good for you today. Find your shape, and then find your breath. Soften the belly. Relax your gaze or close your eyes. Inhale into whatever thoughts, feelings, physical sensations. Exhaling, coming back to how your body feels in this shape on the mat. Find 3 more inhales and exhales here. Each breath out, noticing where you can release a little more. And then bring your hands down to the floor, slowly lifting yourself up, taking your time. Finding a moment at the top to let the body recalibrate and the blood flow restoring back to flowing freely through the upright body. And then when you're ready, gently making your way to tabletop. Hands under your shoulders, knees under your hips. There's no rush. And finding tabletop. Allowing your body a moment to adjust. Take a moment to notice the pattern of breath and the pattern of the heartbeat. Has it changed since we first began seated in our meditation? And when you're ready, inhaling, dropping the belly, lifting the tailbone, lifting the back of the head for cow pose. Exhaling to cat. Curling the spine, tucking the tailbone and the chin. Inhaling slowly, fully to cow. Drawing the shoulders down the back, lifting the chin, opening the throat. Exhaling, curling the spine, pressing the earth away, sending the back of the heart space towards the ceiling. And we'll just continue with cat and cow moving with your own breath rhythm. Allowing yourself to add in any other little moves that your body is craving. Maybe some figure eights. Maybe you spend several rounds of breath in either cat or cow. Learning, practicing to listen to our body's calls for what it needs. Again, noticing how the stress manifests in the body, and then using our inner wisdom, the physical sensations, the breath, to let us care for ourselves. Take a few more rounds of cat and cow to even out whatever motions or pauses you found. And then meet me in a neutral tabletop. Once you're there, tuck the toes, send the hips back over the heels. Spread the fingertips wide. We're going to press up into downward dog as slowly as you've ever done it. The slowest downward dog lift you've ever taken. Pressing the finger pads down into the mat, suction cupping the palms, spinning the biceps forward, curling the spine, tucking the chin until you're looking back at your knees. And then begin to lift those knees off the mat. Lift the tailbone and the hips, keeping a slight bend in your knees, finding your downward facing dog. Press your chest towards your thighs. Find some weight in the heels. Relax the neck. Breathe in deep. And exhale slowly. I'm going to be here for several rounds of breath. And while this is certainly not a passive posture, it does help neutralize the spine. If at any point you become too tired or just not feeling this posture today, you can lower the knees down to the mat and take a child's pose. Otherwise, see if you can stay with yourself in downward dog. Allowing the breath to empty the lungs of air. The crown of the head reaching towards the floor as you're dropping any thoughts and negativity, what ifs and worries out through the crown of your head. If you could do that, allow that breath to take you there. Let it go. Find 3 more rounds of breath. Don't rush it. If you're in child's pose, stay there. From downward dog, let your final exhale, slow motion, lower the knees down to the mat, untuck the toes, shift your hips back, find your child's pose, lowering the forehead to the mat. Maybe bringing the arms down to your side. So the tops of the arms meet the earth, palms up. Take 3 rounds of breath in child's pose. And from there, bring your hands back down to the mat. Inhaling, walking the hands forward, lowering all the way down to your belly. Taking your time. Bring your palms next to your chest. And take 3 rounds of cobra lifts. So shrug the shoulders up towards your ears, and then exhale them down the back, like you're rolling your shoulders down and back. Hug the elbows in. Press the tops of the feet into the mat, And on an inhale, lift the forehead, lift the gaze towards the top of the mat, lightly pressing into the palms. Lift the heart. Shoulders still pressing away from the ears. Tops of the feet still pressing down into the mat. Take 3 rounds of breath here in baby cobra. Light weight in the hands. On your third exhale, slowly descend back to the mat, forehead down. Slowly press yourself up to your tabletop. If you'd like a round of cat and cow or a child's pose in between, that might feel good. Otherwise, sink your hips back over your heels. Shift the hips to one side. And bring the soles of the feet together at the top of the mat. From here, we're going to make our way into deer pose. You can also take pigeon if you prefer that. So shifting over to one side, lower the leg down and bring your hip, knee, heel to about 90 degrees. Doesn't have to be exact, just kind of that general direction. Of course, paying attention to your body, settling into wherever would feel most comfortable for you. All right, again, using those props as you need them. Definitely bring a couple out in front of you, blocks or pillows. And again, shrugging the shoulders up and down the back, fingertips to the mat. Inhale, sitting up straight. Exhaling, walking the fingertips forward, widen your arms as you do. Until maybe you come down to the forearms. If that's okay for you, maybe you stay lifted here and prop yourself up with pillows. Begin lowering the heart downward. Again, deciding if you want to let your head hang heavy or if you want to prop up your forehead. Keeping that front leg somewhat straight, somewhat parallel to the top of the mat. And then breathing in to wherever the sensations are finding themselves in the body. That spot of tension, inhale. Exhale. Bring some softness and ease, both to the body and the mind. Full belly breaths in. Exhales out through the nose, a second or two longer than the breath in, if you can. Three more rounds of breath. When you're ready, press your hands into the mat, beginning to straighten through the arms and lift the chest up. Walk the hands in. Slowly, taking your time. Full inhale, open mouth exhale. Just pivot on the hips so that the knees come up off the mat. Then come back to the center, soles of the feet together. Spend a moment here. And then just tilt to the other side, lowering that leg down, finding around the 90-degree angle that works. Front leg somewhat parallel to the top of the mat. Propping yourself up, gathering anything you need to cascade down towards the earth when we're there. But before we do that, shrug the shoulders down the mat, press the fingertips down to the mat as well. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, walk the fingertips forward, lowering the chest inch by inch, wide through the arms, and then lowering down to your props or your forearms, releasing the forehead and the neck, finding any spots of tension, physical or otherwise, allowing your awareness to send the breath there. Exhale, peace and calm. Soothing the body and the mind. Imagine with your breath, you're freeing yourself from those sometimes uncontrollable reactions we have to things going on. Let yourself be soothed with the breath and this practice. Continue to release downwards. And spend 3 more rounds of breath. Knowing, of course, you can spend however much amount of time in any of these postures. It's just suggested for the sake of the video, but it's your practice, so take your time if you need. Whenever you're ready, press into the hands, begin to sit yourself up, walking the hands in, coming back upright, taking a full inhale, and a cleansing open mouth exhale. Sit back on your hips, pivoting on them, bringing the knees upright, and make your way onto your back. Using a pillow if you'd like, lengthening the legs downwards. For wind removing pose, we're going to draw the right knee in first, clasping the fingertips around the top of the knee, and then just allowing the weight of our arms to gently encourage that right knee down and in. Find a slight tuck of the chin. Relax the shoulder blades. Relax the jaw. And concentrate on the sensation of the belly pressing up and releasing down. Take your time with your breath for another few seconds. And then when you're ready to release, gently lower the right foot to the mat, releasing the grip. Bending the left knee, and extending the right leg long on the mat. We'll take the other side. Slowly, no rush. Drawing that left knee towards your chest, clasping the fingertips around the top of the knee. And then letting the arms be heavy as the elbows draw downward, pulling that knee in and up towards your shoulder, towards the armpit. And then relaxing, releasing down, letting just gravity be the only force. Slight tuck of the chin. Breathe in and breathe out. And just a few more seconds here. Where can you soften for the final exhale? Releasing on the inhale, lowering that left foot down. Releasing the arms to the mat. Bending both knees. Shift the hips to the right side of the mat. And lower the knees towards the left. Maybe you prop them up with a pillow. And extend the right arm long for supine twist. Allow your gaze to gently look over your right shoulder. Again, taking your time to adjust, find a pillow or a blanket, and then releasing into stillness. Take 3 more rounds of breath. Or if you need to stay a little longer, please be welcome to do so. When you're ready, inhale to look up towards the ceiling. And take your time to lift both knees up. Shift the hips back to the center of the mat. Extend the arms up overhead. And take a stretch. Exhale the arms down to your side. Now shifting the hips to the left. Lower the knees down towards the right. Supporting any part of you that would like a little softness or support. And extend the left arm long next to you, looking over your left shoulder. Allowing yourself to sink into the twist. Sink into the breath. Again, releasing your distractions on the exhales. Taking your final rounds of slow, deep breathing here. Prepare to release from the posture by turning your face to look up towards the sky. Gently lifting the knees back up. We'll take one round of bridge pose before closing. So walk the heels in, knees still bent, fingertips reaching towards your heels. Press the palms of the hands, the feet into the mat, and lifting from the belly button. Inhale, lifting the hips off the mat, pressing the hips up. Keep the length in the neck. Slight tuck of the chin. Press the inner feet downward. Inhale, maybe lifting a little higher. Exhaling, allowing the hips to lower back towards the mat. Taking the bridge down. Take a moment here. Full breath in. Exhale it out. Hug the knees in towards your chest. Wrapping the forearms around. Maybe take some little rocks left and right, or circling the knees to massage out the low back. Tuning in here. Seeing if there's any final things you'd like to take before Shavasana. Perhaps a happy baby. Perhaps another supine twist. Maybe a big stretch. Close out, satisfying the physical needs. To stretch, sigh, and then begin to release down for Shavasana. And don't forget about all the soft, cozy props around you. I recommend bringing a blanket over the tops of the hips, maybe propping up behind your back to keep the heart lifted, a pillow behind your head. Get really cozy. And then begin to find complete stillness. Relaxing the face, closing the eyes, softening the jaw, and allowing the tongue to release from the roof of the mouth. Soften through your neck and shoulders. Feel the arms and the legs become so heavy. Imagine the tension in the chest melting down the sides of your shoulders, down the arms, into the earth. Soften the belly and release the awareness of your breath. Feel the tailbone, the hip points gently melting into the floor beneath you. Soften the knees, relax the ankles, quiet the toes. Allow yourself to become still and cool. There's nowhere else to be. There's no more things to do. Just be here in this pause. Begin to deepen the breath. Begin to feel the temperature of the air against your skin. Feel the texture of the things supporting you, between you and the floor. Begin to bring some little movements to the fingers and the toes. Maybe roll the wrists and the ankles awake. And begin to draw your awareness to your presence in the space you're practicing today. And begin to draw the feet, the knees together. Gently mindful of the props. Rolling to one side. Curling into yourself for just another moment. And then pressing yourself up to comfortable seats in the center of the mat. Keeping the eyes closed or softly gazing downward. Bring one hand to your belly and one hand to your heart. Connecting breath and heart, passion and wisdom, body and mind. And in those connections, sensing the pause between heartbeats, between breaths, between information from the outside and response from the inside. Take a final deep inhale, pressing the belly and the hands, feeling the chest lift, expanding as much as you can until you're absolutely full. There's no more space, and then hold it for just a second. Exhale, open mouth, release. Lower the hands. Blink open the eyes. Welcome yourself. Back to you. May you use this practice to help ease yourself in moments of stress and uncertainty, of worry and anxiety, knowing there's always that pause you can take to find a moment of you, a moment of calm, a moment where we can move beyond just our evolutionary responses to the higher energy, the higher calling, the higher sensation of being awake to ourselves and this beautiful earth and life we get to live. Thank you for sharing this practice with me. I'll see you next time on the virtual mat.